How do you prove some of those things, like his death on the cross, his resurrection? What if you don't believe in them? What if you don't believe in Christ? And as for his lifestyle, couldn't you live that kind of moral lifestyle with ethics without necessarily being religious and or Christian?
Now, true, there's no 4K camera footage of Jesus walking out of the tomb. Some of the evidence for his resurrection is that every single credible source from the ancient times confirm that Jesus existed, that he was crucified, and that after he was crucified, his believers said that they saw him resurrected. In fact, in Corinthians, it says that over 500 people saw him at one time. Then you have the empty tomb of Jesus. Jesus wasn't thrown into a mass burial site. He was buried in the tomb of a rich man that was popular, known as Joseph of Arimathea. That tomb was guarded by Roman soldiers who ended up having to run away because of an earthquake that preceded the resurrection of Jesus. But the idea here is that Jesus's body was in a tomb in a verifiable location that was empty after he was buried. Then you have ordinary men, the disciples of Jesus, who became so bold proclaiming that they have seen the resurrected Jesus that they were all willing to die for this claim. I don't know about you, but if you come up with something and you know you're lying, when push comes to shove and your life's on the line, you'll just give up and tap out and say, look, I'm sorry, I was making it up. It's a story that we came together and decided to spread. But with these guys, when push came to shove, they all actually sacrificed their lives for the truth. Then there are also like so many hyperlinks to the Old Testament and prophecies and foreshadowings that tie it all together in a way that just can't be a coincidence. Like, for example, the greatest judgment in the Old Testament was the flood in the days of Noah. The Bible tells us that the judgment ended on the 17th day of the 7th month, and Jesus resurrected on the 17th day of the 7th month. And just like the flood ending was an end of the judgment to the people of those days, the resurrection of Jesus is an end to judgment for all who will put their faith in him.